Welcome everybody. Welcome to Marsego Empire. Welcome. I'm grateful for you making time with me once again. If you are watching for the first time, if you are a new follower, welcome. This is Marsego Empire. We talk about education. We talk about how to find job on this platform. We also have discussions on things that we can do to be able to be better. I give you inspiration. I use my personal experiences about life to inspire people, to advise people on what to do. You're welcome. Today, we're going to talk about certain things that we need to do to be able to beat application deadline in terms of applying for school, applying for visa, and doing so many other things. So just relax, don't skip this video, because things that I'm going to share with you, they are so relevant. Now, in all schools across the world, application, especially for international students as well as students who are referred to as domestic students, have a deadline. So there is a deadline for all international students to apply to that particular program. That simply means that as an international student, you cannot rush the process. As an international student, you can't want the process to move at the space you wanted. So this simply means that you must prepare in advance to ensure that time will not be against you. So far as there is a deadline for all international students to apply on a particular day, in the same vein, there is a deadline for certain things to be done as well. Number one, if today being 13th of January 2023 is a deadline for all international students to apply for a particular program, once you are admitted, there is also a deadline for you to accept the acceptance of admission. There is a deadline for you to make a deposit. There is a deadline, for, most especially for people who are applying for graduate programs. There is a deadline for you to even ask your university to send your transcript to that particular university. If you are not able to submit your transcript, your university is unable to submit your transcript to the university on that particular date, your admission will be revoked. There is also a deadline for international students to enroll. So there is a date that they have given for you to enroll for your courses. There is a deadline for international students to pay their deposit. There is a deadline for international students to also pay their tuition, depending on the policy of the particular university or that particular college. So this simply means that as international students, you must plan ahead of time as to how you are going to do all these things. If you do not plan, you will not be able to accomplish your dream, because you may be given admission, but the school will revoke it. The school may revoke your admission if you are unable to catch up with some of these deadlines. So how will you be able to meet this deadline? For example, if you are admitted to pursue a particular program and you are supposed to make a tuition or admission acceptance, or you are supposed to make an acceptance of admission deposit of 1,500 Canadian dollars. How are you going to pay for this deposit? Do you have the money at hand? So it means that once you have reviewed the admission requirements of that particular school, and you know that you are supposed to make a tuition deposit, you must begin to plan as to how you are going to raise that money to pay the acceptance deposit. Now, if you are applying for a university program, you must know that the university will be requesting you to go to your university in your home country for your university to send your transcript on your behalf to that particular university. And the posting of this transcript involves money. The minimum you may be paying to the university to do this on your behalf may be 400 to 500 this in Ghana cedis if you are in Ghana. If you are in Nigeria, this may be about 25,000 to 30,000 naira. How are you going to do this? You need to plan. Now, the schools will always advise that if you are going to apply for, let's say, fall 2024 intake, you need to apply for admission ahead of time, at least a minimum of 6 months, to ensure that you'll be able to go through the visa processes, get your visa, enroll, and relocate to Canada. They are doing this to ensure that you'll be able to meet some of these deadlines. And do you also know that there are certain programs that do not allow students to defer their programs to the next intake? Once they have admitted you for a particular intake, you can't defer your program. Once you are unable to meet the deadline, enroll, relocate to Canada and start school, it means that you are going to lose the admission status. And for all schools, there are also deadlines for you to defer your programs. So once you realize that you are unable to get visa to study in that particular school, you must know the deadline for which you can defer your program, because deferrals are very important. If you defer, the school must, or the admission office must approve it. So you need to do this ahead of time. These are things that everybody must have at the tips of his or her hand to ensure that you will be able to go through the processes smoothly. This has to do with people who have pending admission or people who are maybe going through the admission processes. This is really, really a big deal. Now, if you are somebody who is planning to study for 2025, maybe for winter, spring, or fall 2025, 2026, 2027, there are certain advanced preparations that you have to do. Don't say that you are not starting school, you don't want to apply this year, so you have enough time to go. No. There are things that you must start today. Number one, apply to your university, your home country, and get your transcript. Get your transcript. Get your English proficiency reports today for 2024, for 2026, or 2025, 2026, 2027, any future year. Get those things. If you are somebody who do not have passport, apply for your passport today. Get your passport at hand. You see that? Now, there are schools in Canada today, in Netherlands, in US, in Germany, which have already opened admission for winter 2025, fall 2025, even fall 2026. Some of the schools in Canada have already opened admission for winter 2026. So even though you are not going to school today, or this year, you can actually apply in advance for these years, 2025 or 2026. So as you do this, it helps you to go through the processes smoothly. It helps you to prepare in advance to be able to meet these deadlines. So do it. Apply for 2025 intake, 2026 intake, even 2027 intake. Some of the colleges have already opened this in the portal for these admissions or for these applications. Do that. Submit the transcript to the school. You can get the acceptance and even apply for visa in advance. You get your visa and plan as to how you are coming to pay your tuition, as to how you be paying your daily expenses and all those things. And you plan ahead of time. Get enough money ahead of time. Once you have gotten your visa, you just need to zip your mouth on it and do some of this advanced preparation ahead of time. In the unlikely event that your visa has been refused, you'll be able to re-strategize, re-plan, so that you submit your visa application for the first time. It gives you an ample time. So you will not like to rise the process. You will not be in haste because your school will not be deferring your program and all those things. This is one sharp thing you can do. You see, it's very important. You plan ahead of time. Advanced preparation is key. Now, if you are somebody who wants to study for 2025, 2026, 2027, and you want to get a scholarship, or the program you want to apply to actually needs you to what, secure a supervisor before you begin the admission process, the best time you must begin contacting supervisors, the best time you must start sending emails, cold emails to the supervisors is now. Because it takes a longer time for some of these supervisors to respond to you. So if the supervisors know that you want to start school 2025, 26, 27, they can actually give you the go ahead. They will tell you that they actually have funding. So once you don't want to study this year, possibly next year, go ahead. They will give you the approval. Some of them will even like to schedule an interview with you. You go through the interview for the future date. See, so you know that even though you are not starting the process this year, you'll be starting next year. You start getting the supervisor, you've gotten your supervisor, then you are sure that at least you'll be getting funding. Then you can just look for money to be able to apply to the school. Once the school gives you admission, you apply for visa. This is what we talk about, what planning to study at the international level. Some people are so quick to say that, Charlie, I want to apply today. Will I be able to get May intake? Will I be able to get summer intake? We are already in January going to February 2024. So if you are somebody who wants to apply for May, you should know that the admission process will take possibly 4 to 8 weeks. That will be about 2 months. So you may be getting admission somewhere March to April. And the visa processes also takes a longer time. It means that you will not be able to meet the deadline. So you must plan ahead of time. When it comes to school, studying at the international level, applying for visa, you cannot rush this process. You need time. So you must plan ahead of time to ensure that you will not be caught a long way. Guys, you see that? Yes, that is it. This is not maybe a situation in Ghana, situation in Nigeria or Cameroon or in Africa where you can contact some big people, you can contact politicians, you can contact people who are in decision-making positions, or your uncle, your auntie who works in some of these big institutions for them to fast track the process for you. Everybody is giving what this is the time. The processes are fair to everybody. So the application, the reviewing of the visa processes are done on first come and first serve basis. So if you are submitting a late application, they're going to review it at the later time. So you must plan. It's very important. Plan ahead of time so that you not be caught in the process. Just imagine you've been given an acceptance. You've been given even a full funding, but you submitted your visa application late. So they are unable to review your application for your application to be approved for you to be issued visa to relocate to that particular country to attend your school. Your visa application might be pending and they have already started school. In some of the countries, once they have started school, school has commenced, but they have not reviewed your application process. Once the time comes, or at the time they're going to review your visa processes and school has already commenced, what the visa process officer will do is that they only tell you that school has already commenced, and the school hasn't given any assurance that you can start school a long way. So they are sorry to tell you that they will not be able to issue you visa. They're not going to tell you that they are refusing or they are approving it. They only tell you that you are late. That ends it. So what will you do? Have you seen how frustrating this process will be? It will be so frustrating that you may meet all the requirements, but the visa officer is only going to tell you that no, you have submitted the visa application late. So based on the late submission, school has already commenced. So once school has commenced, it means that you will not be able to catch up with your mate. So they are sorry to tell you that they will not approve your visa. This doesn't mean that you are not qualified, it means that you are qualified, just that the late submission will not help you. Have you seen how frustrating this will be? So guys, that is it. So let's plan ahead of time. Let's plan ahead of time to ensure that some of these things are done at the right time. So if you're applying for your program, you must know if you can defer your program. You must know if you can defer your program. You must know when admissions are offered to you, when you are supposed to pay what the deposit, when you are supposed to enroll, when you are supposed to make tuition deposit. You must also check from the embassy of the particular country you are going to, the maximum processing time. You must check all these things in advance. And once you have already submitted the application for your visa, it is also important that you begin to put certain documents in place. I have already done videos on certain relevant documents that you need to be able to submit your visa application. Begin to put some of these documents down. Begin to gather some of these documents ahead of getting your admission, so that once you have gotten admission, you can just put some of maybe the other documents that you are in the process the other documents that you are in the processes of getting, you just put them together and submit that. This is the application, because getting certain documents can really be frustrating. Getting certain documents can be time consuming. So those documents must be gotten ahead of time, especially if you need introductory letter, you need certain documents that you must apply for with certain institutions. Some of them can be frustrating. Some of them can be time consuming. So you must do some of these things ahead of time. So guys, that is it. God bless you. God bless you for listening to me. I'll bring you more interesting discussion. I'll bring you more interesting content in relation to school application. Charlie, enjoy your evening. God be with you. Who knows? I might come your way once again. Bye-bye.